driving point with the Democratic Party is that illegal immigration mostly happens due to the difficulty of the process of immigration, and
Yeah, so we want
I
to make the
believe
legal process go quicker, but they still want to criminalize undocumented entry. I hold a different position than the typical Democratic Party as a whole, but that's their position.
I do believe so. That's kind of what I was trying to segue into is I do believe that criminal. I do believe it should be a criminal. It should be criminal. Sorry, criminalized for illegal entry into any country, and I believe that that is a good stance that Trump has on that. And I believe that absolutely, if you are coming into the country illegally, it is a criminal act, and it should not be punishable by enforcement camp the enforcement camps that people are. And I think ICE, the thing with ICE is absolutely terrible. But I do believe that it is, again, what their intended purpose is good. But I believe that it is something that is wrong. And I know that Trump is, or JD Vance was pardoning people who are committing crimes. But again, I do believe that Trump has a good idea, and it's not something, and it reminds me of the defund the police thing from, I think, 2020, when everybody was saying we should defund the police, and some people were even advocating for no police at all. But I believe that ICE is important for, gathering undocumented immigrants and everything. But I believe that just because there are ICE agents who are murdering people, which is terrible, again, but I don't think that it's something that is valid enough to halt the operation. And I think that's what some people are advocating for. But it's something that, like, what do you expect Trump to do other than convict the people who are, murdering people? But, like, what is Trump supposed to do to the rest of the people who aren't murdering people? Like, the people who are doing the wrong thing are already doing it, and there's nothing you can do to the rest of the people who are ICE enforcers. Is kind of like,
Due
do you get the point
process.
that I'm trying to make?
Don't detain U.S. citizens based upon their race and accent. Don't send people to a concentration camp in El Salvador. Don't deport people to countries that they've never been to. Don't advocate to denaturalize citizens. Don't try to get rid of the green cards for illegal permanent residents because they disagree with us politically.
I absolutely do. I agree that is, yeah, that's due process, right? But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say here is, Trump. I do 100% believe that Trump is on board for that. But the people who aren't following due process, I don't believe that Trump is one person. I don't believe that Trump can individually go in for each individual ICE agent and say, like, hey, you need to not be doing this. I think that
He's
it is
directing the
important.
policy, though. He allowed for ICE
He's
to not use judicial warrants to search and seize people's properties. They're allowed to go in and search people's homes now without judicial warrants, which I think is a violation of someone's Fourth Amendment rights.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree, but I don't think that negates that the fact that he is everything else that he's doing, like with the ICE agent. I don't think that means that he overall is not performing the ICE agents, like, overseeing properly. Like,
That is to
I
mean that they're not doing it properly because we disagree with their code of conduct.
I
Like
mean, yeah,
they're
it's an
allowing for
improper
them to
aspect of
violate
it.
due process rights.
It's an improper aspect, but I don't think that means that 100% of everything that he's doing is wrong.
Well, I never said 100% of everything. I said that these things are wrong.
But what I'm saying is that does that mean that Trump should not be in charge of should not be overseeing the Department of um, undocumented immigrants?
You mean Department of Homeland Security or of
Yeah, I'm
ICE?
sorry, I don't know the terms.
It's okay.
I don't know, like,
So,
all the terms, but
I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I
I
meant.
think this is one of the reasons that would say that his bad policy on it. Yeah, like what I mentioned were all bad policies relating to immigration and things that would be better off if Democrats were in office.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to say, I am a Democrat, and I just wanted to see how much I could debate you pretending.
Okay, let's go to the next individual and send a guest request. If you meet that criteria in the TikTok screen, we are just looking for some debates, everybody. Ellie, thank you so much for the $5, by the way, on Venmo. Thank you so much, Ellie. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go on the next individual and send a guest request. If you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen, we're just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Never gonna give you up.
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 53.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Of course, Trump.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
I think that liberals have gotten way out of hand, and it's time to clean it up. And I like the fact that he's draining the swamp.
Okay, how did we get out of hand? And
By giving all the money away. There's too much given away for free.
Okay, I think that they're giving too much away to defense contractors under the Trump administration. They want to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on this war with Iran. They're giving a bunch of free money out to millionaires and billionaires through the tax policies and tax loopholes that they've put specifically within the context of the Big Beautiful Bill, which adds $3.4 trillion to debt over the next 10 years. I can give countless other examples. We're giving money to Argentina, over $40 billion.
Okay, well, when you say that they're giving money to the military and giving money to the wealthy, at least those are people that are working for it, right?
No, oftentimes their money is working for them.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's capitalism. That's the American way.
Yeah, but they should pay their fair share.
Yeah, they do pay their fair share.
No, they don't. The top 400 billionaires pay a lower effective tax rate than the average American.
Okay, at some point they paid their fair share, though, right? Before
Nope.
they got to be multi-billionaires. You don't think that they've paid more taxes than you or I?
Not in terms of percentage.
No,
I
not in
definitely
terms
pay a
of
higher percentage than they do, for sure.
Right, but they've paid more into it than you or I have combined.
Yeah, but you understand that, like, not in terms of the overall number, though. I mean, and I said in terms of overall number, but not in terms of percentage. So when we
Right.
say pay a fair share, that's going to be relative to the amount of money that they make. So
No,
percentage-wise.
I hear you, and yes, I agree that everybody should pay their fair share, and that may not be happening, but my stance is very firm that the people that are set up to where they have no plan to do anything other than take handouts for their entire life, to me, that is a liberal way. And when you bring all of these illegal aliens in here to hand over monetary value, to hand over insurance, to basically pave the way for them. Yeah, I'm over it. You know, my health insurance costs me $800 a month, and I don't go to the doctor because I don't want to drain my HSA. I work on a fire department, by the way, and when I take people to the hospital that don't pay anything and don't struggle at all with having to go in to get a casual CT or MRI just to make sure that everything's okay, I'm tired of it. And Trump's doing something about it.
So you want them to have to struggle?
No, I don't want them to have to struggle.
Or would you prefer that you don't have to struggle?
I would prefer that it's even for everybody, so that one person doesn't struggle.
So everyone has access to
it. While the other person doesn't struggle. It's the reason that I pay so much.
You sound pretty liberal. Because I mean,
so?
I believe in that system. I believe in a system where no one has to struggle because they can't afford their medical bills, where you don't have to choose to not go get a screening or go to the doctor because you can't afford it because it costs too much for you. That's a ridiculous system that we live in right now. And that system exists because it's left up to the private markets, and the private markets are not effective in relation to healthcare access, right? Health insurance access. So we need a universal access to healthcare, which is what the Democrats have advocated for, a public option that would actually ensure that everyone's on the same playing field and you don't have to struggle because of your inability to pay for access to healthcare, which actually will reduce healthcare costs in the long run because preventative healthcare will catch chronic conditions earlier, making it less costly to address them. Along with the fact that immigrants actually come to our society and they reduce the deficit, right? Over the past 30 years, we've actually seen a reduction in the deficit by $14.5 trillion because of immigration. So undocumented immigrants, we should provide a quicker legal process for them to come to the country, rather than specifically just saying that we should engage in some sort of mass deportation policy, because one, that doesn't allow for us to focus on the people who are actually committing violent crimes and bad crimes and actually a threat to the safety and security of our communities. And then plus, it doesn't acknowledge that immigrants make it easier for us to address the other issues that we have in our society, because they increase GDP, increase tax revenues, and decrease costs for our system overall by decreasing the deficit.
Yeah, I don't know. You talk too quick for me, man. I can't keep up with all that.
I can go and explain it back again. Immigrants are beneficial to our economy. I can send you a study from the Cato Institute that indicates they net decrease the overall federal deficit of our budget, meaning that they pay more into the system than they take out of it, because proportionally they work to a higher extent.
Okay, and so they don't have any effect on the working Americans that they're taking the jobs from?
They actually don't take jobs. Immigration of the last 30 years, according to a National Bureau of Economic Research study, actually indicates an increase in employment rate for natural-born U.S. citizens, given that there's been immigration over the past 30 years. So immigrants are not taking your jobs.
Okay, so not taking them, just underbidding them.
No, they're not underbidding them or
because
taking them.
They work
Wages
for
have
less.
actually gone up for U.S. citizens as well who are born in this country because of immigration.
Because of it. Oh, okay. All right.
According to that same National Bureau of Economic Research study. So actually all data indicates that immigrants are very beneficial to our economy.
Okay, so how about when the Doge comes along and finds all of these, millions and millions of dollars being sent to these ridiculous funds for I don't know, transgender or the list goes on. You know what I'm talking about, right? What's your stance on that?
Hey, Jason, do you have a second account?
Do I have a second account?
Yeah, like you can join on, because you just got a flag for misinformation. Meaning I have to go into the next person. It's from TikTok, not from me. Making my live ineligible for the recommendation if I keep you up. So I do have to go into the next person unless you have another account I could bring you up on.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
You're welcome to come up on a different day. It's just TikTok TOS. I apologize.
Sure. All right.
Alrighty. Got to go on to the next individual. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. As well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Harold, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you very much on PayPal. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I totally get you there. It is absolutely crazy. I know. So many people who support Trump don't believe in science. It's absolutely nuts, right? Impressive. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the $10. Thank you very much. I've been working on and trying. Stimming, thank you so much for the appreciate the $10 as well. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Hopefully it goes okay for you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I always will. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, again, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always. Let's go into this next individual. Again, only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Let's get this next person up here. Please only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. There's one person who said in the comment section that they sent me money twice and I didn't thank them. It's very likely you could have possibly sent it to the wrong person. Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio. Make sure you go to the link tree in the bio if you're going to do so. Hey, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Do you support Trump?
I lean that way currently.
Like if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
It'd be close. Probably Trump, but I'd have to really dig deep into it.
Okay, and what's your birth year?
2007.
Okay, and if and you said you'd support Trump, so why do you support Trump?
I live in the South, so it's kind of like that's what I've been led to. I don't completely understand too much, but that's kind of where I've been pushed so far.
Okay. Is there anything like specifically he's done that you like, or anything that the Democrats have done that you dislike?
I kind of come from a position of like the common man, and the Republican Party is traditionally leaned that way. Though currently I feel like with gas prices and groceries especially kind of like stresses me out. So I don't know. That kind of influences where I lean.
Okay. So, but like that doesn't seem like anything in specific. So wait, repeat what you said stresses you out again?
Like I come in from the position of a common man, like things like gas prices, food, those are things I mainly worry about.
Okay.
And
Gas prices
I
and
kind of
food
just
prices
lean
have gone up
whichever
since
way
Trump got
kind
in
of
office.
appeals that way.
Yeah, gas prices and food prices have gone up since Trump
Hmm.
got in office.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that mostly stems from the war with Iran, but I don't remember them being like egregiously high his first term. And I haven't necessarily like read into what has changed from the first term to the second term.
Okay. So, you said you liked his first term. You don't know what's different between his first term and second term. Well, his first term wasn't good because of him. Also, I mean, here, let me maybe go through a few things. I think that might make it more okay. Um, is there anything that he did in his first term that you like? They left. Okay. Let's go to the next individual, everybody. Again, only send a guest request if you meet that criteria. If you support me as always, if you want to support me as always, Venmo, PayPal, links are in the bio as well as the description of YouTube. So as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat as always, everybody. Let's get this next person up here. Or in the pinned comment on YouTube as well, everybody. Let's get this next person up here. Again, only send a guest request if you meet that criteria. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. It helps get it out to more people as always. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
28.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
Election out today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
What?
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
So, do you know who this is?
No clue.
You don't know who this is?
Can you just answer my question, sir?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
You have about 5 seconds to answer.
You and your girlfriend are dumb as fuck.
Okay. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
23.
Do you support Trump?
I just want to say I love what you do, man.
Appreciate you very much. Let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. We are just looking for some debates.
Nigger, 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 nigger.
You're disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. That's all the parents. So disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. Let's get this next person up here, please, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Oh, I did not mean to have that person up again. Weirdo. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Nigger.
You're disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo, what up?
Do you support Trump?
No.
Okay. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Let's go to the next individual. Do just give us a quick second, everybody. Alrighty, let's try to get this next person up here. I do apologize. Sometimes it takes a second, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. How old are you?
Hey, 27.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah,
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
What's your birth year?
98.
And what month?
July.
Okay. Election held today, Harris versus Trump. You said you'd vote for Trump, right?
Yep.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Sorry, I have All right, so I was wondering if you would come at this from a different angle. I am not a left-wing person. I don't like Trump, so that's why I have to vote for him. Can you get me to join the left?
Yeah. What makes you want to lean towards Trump?
So I was around for the whole 2016 thing, and I was in college, and everybody was very excited to join the job market. There wasn't the current sense of nihilism with college students. I feel like everybody my age at that time really did like the direction we were going.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
under
remember
Obama.
Not 2016 through 2020.
2016 was Obama's administration. Trump didn't get office until 2017.
So
And Trump was still in
that's what
office until 2021 as well.
Yeah, I'm talking about that time frame.
So 2017 to 2021.
Yep.
What changed that made it better?
I think, well, I'm not exactly sure, but I remember every industry going up. I was in tourism specifically, and that was booming. I know engineers were very excited.
Did you know tourism
A
is
lot of
lower
job
since Trump
openings.
got in office? We had the worst year of job growth in the past 4 years. We saw unemployment increase. We saw lower real GDP growth in 2025 as compared to 2024.
Yep.
Lower real median
Yep.
wage growth in 2025 as compared to 2024. We saw lower real domestic manufacturing investment every single quarter of Trump's administration.
So I'm right wing, and I agree with more right wing principles. One of the reasons I won't vote left is because there's people that comment in, like your comment sections that say things like nobody's illegal on stolen land. And that
Okay.
makes me think people just kind of resent the existence of the country. So that's a big reason too.
Okay. So because someone said something in my comment section, you can't be a liberal?
So the direction
Like you
that
wouldn't
you're-
like stop being a MAGA supporter because some MAGA supporters are literal racists, or some MAGA supporters literally won't vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman, or some MAGA supporters are literally a part of the KKK.
No, you're right about that. I'm just asking you to kind of take like an empathetic way to get me to go left. Maybe not debate me, but like try to get me to philosophically agree with you guys.
Yeah, but like it's a little bit more vague than that, because or a little bit more specific than that. I mean, because like we have to know what specific things convince you. I have to know what's relevant or valued to you. Because
Okay.
I would say, like, in terms of if you care about working class tax cuts, Democrats specifically want to specify that. They want to go after and do that. They believe in science, right? They want to address climate change. Trump thinks the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet. The Democrats support universal access to healthcare, expanding access to healthcare, when over 60% of personal bankruptcies are a result of people having the inability to pay for their medical expenses, right? Over 130 million Americans are struggling with medical debt in this country, right? So in order for us to actually address the affordability crisis in this country, we have to include addressing healthcare. We have to include addressing access to housing, which Donald Trump hasn't done for either of those things. So why do I support Democrats? Because they believe in science, because they actually do things to help the average American, and because the Republicans seemingly care more about helping defense contractors, oil companies, and large businesses than they actually care about helping the average American.
Okay. I also see your side as kind of against religious rights, like principles, just kind of those kinds of values,
Such as?
Christian values.
Such as?
You see, I'm not even like a big pro-life guy, but the way I think your party demonizes pro-life people and frame it in a way that it's like people want to control women, I think is bad
That's
rhetoric. to
objectively
push.
speaking what they're doing.
So is that the way that they see it though? Are they saying I want to control women?
I mean, but like you could say the same thing for the pro-lifers. The pro-lifers literally say that people who get abortions are murderers and should go to prison.
Yeah, that's weird, right? But how many
We're just
people?
claiming that they're pro-forced birth, which they objectively speaking are. If you believe that people should have restricted access to abortion from a legal perspective, you are pro-forced birth.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm just trying to get your moral perspective too.
Here's my
Not
view.
like
Yeah, I got you. So,
okay.
in order to be Christian, you don't have to be pro-life. You can be Christian and you can be pro-choice. You can be pro-sentience. You can think that a person's personhood, right, or rights are defined when they become sentient. In the same way that you do think it's not murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead, even though they're still cellularly speaking alive, is the same reason why you'd think it's justified to get access to an abortion prior to sentience under that perspective.
Okay. I mean, good points. I'm gonna think about this. I gotta go to bed, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
Good talk.
All right. Appreciate you coming up. Have a good night. Let's go to the next individual. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everybody. If you're on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes, everybody. We're currently at around 1,600 likes right now. Let's try to get to 2,000 if we possibly can. We've got at least 45 more minutes left on the stream, everyone, just letting y'all know. Tomorrow, everyone, I should be live earlier in the day. Just letting everyone know, probably like 9 a.m. I'll probably be live at like 9 a.m. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 27.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
What's your birth year?
1998.
Okay. And why do you support Trump?
Because he's America first.
Okay. And name one policy that he's influenced to get passed that is America first.
I wouldn't say so much policy as much as geopolitical strategy. Like what we're seeing with the homos, straight, whatever right now, getting oil tankers to come buy gas from us. I'm already seeing gas prices here in California drop significantly, 60 cents overnight.
That's incoherent. If countries are buying gas and oil from us, that means that we would have a reduction in the supply available to you, right?
Well,
Meaning the
according
price
to
would
the
go up.
Democrats, I mean, to the Democrats, we don't have a supply because there was no supply, and Trump increased the supply.
We had the highest
in
level of
California.
domestic production of oil of any point in U.S. history or of any country in the history of the world under the Democrats' administration.
That's not true.
It is
The
a fact.
most-
For
the
that
most
time,
oil-
we had the highest
what?
production of oil of any country in the history of the world for that time.
For what time?
For that time, under the Biden administration.
I'm not talking about the Biden administration. You're talking about the Biden administration. The Biden administration shut down more oil plants than freaking everybody.
Wrong. Provide a single source saying that.
I don't have a source because
I
I don't
know.
really. Okay. So let's talk about the statement that you made about being Christian and you don't have to be pro-life.
Yeah.
That's not true. As Christians, we believe life is formed at conception. And if you are a true Christian and somebody who believes that, you're not going to be for somebody who's going to abort a child even while the conception is happening, right? So like a Plan B pill. So I think that you need to correct your statement there, because you being not Christian and then stating something from a Christian perspective, I don't think that's really a good look for you.
I can describe what would be true of the Christian perspective as someone who's not Christian. That's something that I can do. It's possible. In the same way that I can
How
say
do you
that
describe it when you don't know Christian values?
I grew up in a Christian household. I probably know more about Christianity than you.
Really?
Yeah, Nick, can you tell me the first 4 books of the New Testament?
Of the New Testament? Matthew,
Yeah.
Mark, Luke, and John.
Okay, what about the Old Testament?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. What
Okay.
else do you want to know?
Oh, you do know them. Can you explain the book of Job to me?
The book of Job. The book of Job is about a man that lost everything and still had his faith in the Lord. It's also about
That's an incredibly vague way of referencing it. If you might want to provide a little bit more context to that one.
It's also about laws. It's about how Job created a bunch of laws for Christians and helped them out.
Nope, not at all.
Yes, it is.
Nope, it's not. That has nothing to do with the book of Job. The book of Job is where the devil goes to God and says, I know that this guy you say is your most faithful servant, but I can get him to turn away from you. Let me test him, God. Let me test him. God lets him test him by literally killing his entire family,
Yeah, he
right,
kills
and
his
causing
entire
all of these
family,
boils
his
all
farm,
over his
burns
body
down
and causing him to
everything.
suffer. And the story is supposed to be like, no matter all the suffering that Job went through, he still decided to follow God. That's like the
Exactly.
notion. That's at least the story. Seemingly, I knew more about it than you did, interestingly enough.
Okay, yeah, you know a little bit more about that book than I do. I mean, it doesn't have anything to say about my Christian faith and who I am as a Christian, though.
Sure, but I was just saying that
Um,
me being not Christian doesn't mean that I don't know anything about Christianity. Now, in terms of your argument that Christians have to be pro-life, nothing about the religious text says that. That is true. Nothing about the religious text even says that you have to believe life begins at conception. I mean, in the Bible, if anything, it can tell you that life begins at first breath, if you want to reference that. But I mean, in general, you accept biology, you believe life begins at conception. That still doesn't mean that you have to think it's valuable at conception, right? I believe cellular life does begin at conception, but I don't believe it's valuable until it becomes sentient. In the same way that if you're a Christian, you don't have to believe that it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that is brain dead, even though they are cellularly speaking alive, right? There's nothing about Christianity that means that you have to say that they're a person because they're cellularly speaking alive.
yeah, but you're going into like written law and written text versus moral law, and for some people, the moral law is just that is a life, and for Christians, I believe most Christians believe the morality of it is just not okay.
But
Most
that doesn't
Christians
mean
don't
that doesn't mean in
accept
order
that.
to be Christian you have to be pro-life. So this whole argument you were trying to make that in order to be Christian you got to be
But
pro-life is wrong.
if you're gonna argue that you have to be, or that you can be pro-abortion while being Christian, that doesn't make sense.
You can be
can't
pro-choice. You can be pro-choice
You
and be
can't
Christian.
be a
Yes.
Christian if you're pro-choice. You really can't.
Yes, you
No.
can. That is a complete lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Explain.
back to my
What is the
argument that-
contradiction between being Christian and being pro-choice?
Wait, say it again.
What is the contradiction between being Christian and being pro-choice?
The contradiction between being Christian and pro-choice. Well, the whole basis of the fact that God created life within you before you even took a breath. And for Christians to say that God created something and then we're going to destroy it morally, for a Christian, that's not okay. And so if you're not...
No,
if
I
you
still don't hear a
believe that-
contradiction. What's the contradiction between being Christian and being pro-choice?
That is a contradiction.
That's not a contradiction. A contradiction
Yes,
is
it
A
is.
does not equal A. That's what a contradiction is. So what is the A does not equal A?
That's exactly what I said. The morality of it. The morality does not equal pro-choice. It doesn't. The morality of a Christian does not equal pro-choice. You
That's
just
not a
can't say
contradiction.
that.
That's just saying you disagree with the view.
That is a contradiction. but
No, it's not.
okay. I'm not going to argue with beliefs.
You can though, but like, have you
Versus-
read Numbers 5?
Numbers 5.
Yeah, it literally
Have
says
you?
that you should get an abortion in the context of a wife cheating on her husband and becoming pregnant due to her cheating.
Yes, well, that has to do with the Old Testament laws of...
So do you think abortion was
Old-
justified and actually the right thing to do in that circumstance? Historically?
No, I don't.
Well, but God
Honestly,
says
I
it was
don't.
good. God says you
didn't
should
say
do
that
it.
was good. It doesn't say that you should.
It does. It literally does say that.
There's no way that it would suggest
It does.
God should. I'll literally pull out my Bible right now
Do
with
it.
Numbers 5 and read it word for word.
Go ahead. In the meantime, Michael, thank you for the $8. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Jaden, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I get you there. So sorry to hear that. Happy tomorrow day for you as well. Ruth, thank you so much for the $15. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruth. All right, give him a second, everybody. If you're on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen to help get out to more people as always. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. As well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always. We have at least another 40 minutes left on the live, just letting everyone know.
Oh, sorry, I had to sneak around my baby sleeping.
Okay.
Numbers 5,
11 through 21.
11 through 21. Let's see here.
Kenzie, thank you for the $4.20. Thank you very much. Thank you very
And
much,
the Lord
Kenzie.
spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, if any man's wife goes astray and behaves unfaithfully toward him, and a man lies with her carnally, and it is hidden from her eyes of her husband, and it is concealed that she has defied herself, and there was no witness against her, nor was she caught, if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him and he becomes jealous of his wife who has defied herself, or if her spirit of jealousy comes upon him and he becomes jealous of his wife, although she has not defiled herself, then the man shall bring his wife to the priest, and he shall bring the offering required for her, 1/10 of an ephah barley meal. He shall pour no oil and no frankincense on it, because it is a grain offering of jealousy, an offering for remembering, for the bringing iniquity to remembrance." Now, that right there is just talking about a offering. It's not talking about a abortion. Now, if you're going to make the argument that hold on.
I'm sorry, my microphone was literally muted. What type of version did you just read?
I read the New King James Version. It is
So read
just
something
like
other
the
than the
King
King James
James
version. Jesus Christ, dude, it's so cringe. Read something
did
else
you
other than that. The King James version is like incoherent. It's really hard to understand.
New King James Version.
I understand.
New King James
So-
Version. It's a dumbed down King James Version. You would know that if you were a Christian. Again, like I said, it talks about an offering of grain. It doesn't talk about an abortion. Again, you're wrong here.
It tells you to drink bitter water, right? You need to look at the scripture. Maybe click it to or send it to 31 instead of 21. Maybe it will in the New King James version.
I don't
say it.
click it. No, I have an actual Bible.
Sorry, I
I'm
apologize. Read to 31 then.
To 31?
Yeah.
Jesus, you're wanting me to read the whole...
No, it's just
The whole
11 through
chapter.
31.
I mean, I can if you want me to prove to your followers that you're wrong.
Go ahead, try.
Because being a Christian, you can't have an abortion.
Can you read to 31?
Your argument is not right.
Hey, buddy, read to
And the priest
31.
shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. The priest shall take her holy water in earthen vessel, and take some of the dust that is on the floor of the tabernacle and put it into the water. Then the priest shall stand the woman before the Lord, uncover the woman's head, and put the offering for the remembering in her hands, which is the grain offering of jealousy. And the priest shall have in his hands the bitter water that brings a curse. The priest shall put under oath and say to the woman, if no man has lain with you, and if you have gone astray to uncleanliness while under your husband's authority, be free from this bitter water that brings a curse. But if you have gone astray while under your husband's authority, and if you have defiled yourself, and some man other than your husband was lain with you, then the priest shall put the woman under the oath of the curse, and he shall say to the woman, the Lord will make you a curse and an oath among your people when the Lord makes your thigh rot and your belly swell, and may this water that causes the curse go into your stomach and make your belly swell and your thigh rot. He's talking about a curse. He's talking about if you were true in your actions. See, you're taking context.
It's literally saying the belly will swell because it's a miscarriage, an intentional miscarriage.
Yes,
that's an abortion.
It's an intentional miscarriage because
That's an abortion.
she did it out of defiance of her husband.
Yeah, so that's an
You don't
abortion. So
understand.
so
See,
quite literally, the book tells you to get an abortion in that context.
And if you're gonna take it out of context, I'm done arguing with you.
That's
Parker,
not out of
because
context. That's literally what your verse says.
That's out of context.
No, it's
Parker.
not.
Yes, it is. And you
No,
know
it's
it.
not. You read it, dude. You read the full
I did
context.
read that.
You
I
actually
did read
complained
it.
about having to read too much.
But are you gonna talk about? Are you gonna
You
talk
actually,
about
dude,
the
you really,
fact
you
that it
literally
was in the
complained
fire
about
from
having to
the-
read too much. So which is it?
I mean, you look dumb to your followers, man. 'Cause
No, I
just
don't.
proved to you
How do I
that
look
you're
dumb?
taking everything out of context.
How do I
You
look
don't
dumb?
give the full
I didn't take it out of context. You actually
understanding of
complained that you had to
everything.
read too much.
All right. Back to
You,
why
the
I
fact that
think
you
it's
think I look
dumb.
dumb to my followers is embarrassing. Type 3 in the comment section if you think I don't look dumb.
I think you look pretty fucking dumb.
And then type a 4 in the comment section if you think that the guest is really dumb.
Not that many people, see?
Really? I see 4s all over that comment section.
Anyways, Parker, you have a good night, brother. I will talk to you another
You're
time.
gonna run away? Really?
You want me to keep talking? We can keep debating.
Yeah. I mean, you can
What would you
acknowledge
like to
that,
debate
that your
again?
God literally calls for them to get an abortion. And you think abortion is good in that context, right?
You're not gonna rage bait me, Parker.
I'm
What
not
else would
rage
you
baiting
like
you.
to
I'm
debate
saying
about?
that your religious scripture tells you that it's good to get an abortion in this context.
That's not true, Parker.
The Bible says it's good. It says it's what you should do in that context.
That was not a good text. That was actually a text with a negative intention. So I don't think that
What?
God
It was
would have
telling
said
you
that
what you should do in that context.
in the Old Testament, Parker.
Yeah, so at that point in
Talking
history,
about
you
the
think
Old
abortion was
Testament,
good
Parker.
in that context.
You're talking about the Old Testament.
Sounds like
Parker.
you're pro-abortion in this context.
Oh, I'm not pro-abortion.
You are pro-abortion in this context. Your Bible is.
My Bible.
Yeah, your Bible is
What do you have against the
pro-abortion in
Christian
this
faith?
context.
Who hurt you so bad in the Christian faith?
No one.
I just want to know. To become an atheist after growing up with Christians, who hurt you, really? Because God does love you, Parker. God loves you very much.
No one hurt me. I just disagree with the view.
Well, God loves you. And I do
Nithya,
pray.
thank you so much for the $20 for the guest is dumb. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I do pray for you, Parker.
So, I mean, you say that, but like you just called me dumb. You had no argument. You actually didn't engage with any of the points I brought up. You have to acknowledge that under your view, you are pro-abortion at some points in history in certain contexts. You are pro-abortion.
At some point in history, in certain contexts.
Yeah,
and
you
then
are
Jesus
pro-abortion in
Christ-
that context.
And then Jesus Christ died on the cross, Parker.
Can
That
we
way
get
all of
a
that
guest
stuff
is
is
pro-abortion in the comment section?
See, he doesn't have a backup for that one.
Wait, no. What was your question? Say it again.
I didn't have a question. I made a statement. You
Sorry,
said
statement. I
that-
apologize.
You said that at some point in time, my Bible approved abortion. And while you are true, Jesus Christ then died on the cross.
Oh, so you are pro-abortion at that point in history?
What?
So you are pro-abortion in that context?
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm
not? Wait, but
pro-abortion.
you understand that you actively just agreed that you were.
I agree with you that it said that in the Bible. I didn't say I.
So is the
agree
Bible
with
wrong?
it. Never said the Bible was wrong.
So
No,
is the Bible
is
right? Is the Bible right?
Bible is absolutely correct.
Okay, if the Bible is absolutely correct, and the Bible tells you that it's pro-abortion in this context, that means it's absolutely right to be pro-abortion in this context, right?
And Jesus Christ died on the cross so that we didn't have to do that anymore.
But you agree that at that point in history, it was correct to be pro-abortion in that context.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, so then you think the Bible is wrong.
No, I don't.
Okay, so then you agree that you're pro-abortion in that context.
I believe that as a Christian, you take things and you look at them from a bigger perspective. Everything in the Bible in the Old Testament looks at or points to Jesus Christ. So if you look at it in that aspect of everything,
So
in the
being
Bible,
pro-abortion in this context, it points towards Jesus Christ?
it actually does. It makes way for Jesus Christ to come. These are all the bad things that people had to do before Jesus Christ came.
W being pro-abortion. I'm glad that we can agree that you're pro-abortion in some context.
Definitely not pro-abortion, Parker.
You
I do
just
praise
agreed that you should be pro-abortion, that brought about Jesus being here.
I do not agree with you at all that any of that is true.
Well, I mean, you've already conceded whether or not you want to acknowledge it at this point. Harold, think of the $20 for the guest is dumb. Thank you so much.
You're trying to to debate beliefs versus facts.
Adam, thank you for the $10. Thank you very much. For the guest needs to be told that he's dumb.
Back
And
to why
I am debating
support
facts.
Trump.
I literally had you read off the scripture, dude.
Okay. Again, it's a belief system, not a
Yeah,
fact.
and your belief system is pro-abortion in that context. You love abortion in that context. You think it's so perfect and great because your Lord, your God commanded it to be good
That's
in
not
that
true.
context.
That's not true. I don't believe that's true. No.
Well, you already conceded. So either the
No.
Bible's wrong or you're pro-abortion in that context. It's one or the other. You pick.
The Bible's not wrong, and the Bible.
So
was
you
never
are pro-abortion in that context.
The Bible was never pro-abortion.
Yes, it was in that context.
No.
Wait, so then
Again,
read the
like
read the
you
Bible.
said,
Do you want to
in the
read the Bible
context-
verse
if you
again?
wanna
Because you
talk
already
about
read
the
it.
Context of the Bible, right there.
Callie, think of the money gun.
That
You
was a
already read it,
negative
dude.
Text that I read, a negative text, and it had to do with cheating, a woman cheating on her husband.
Yeah, and saying
the
that you
text
should
was-
get an abortion in that context.
The text was not saying that you should get an abortion.
It
The
was.
text
An intentional
saying that
miscarriage
the
is an
priest would
abortion.
take her
If you're
up
supposed to
as
get
an
an
offering to the
intentional
Lord,
miscarriage, given that you
give her
cheated on your
bitter
husband, given
water,
that you
and
become
if-
pregnant
if
based
she
upon that,
defied
then
her
obviously that
husband in a
means you
way,
should get an
then
abortion.
She is going to have an abortion. Again,
Okay.
the text. You have to think about the text, Parker.
I think this argument just will never get through to him. Like it's an obvious,
No,
it's
and
still a
I'm
good
trying to have
argument.
a
You just like
different
won't
argument
understand.
with you, but you don't want to because you're so hung up on the Christian stuff.
Okay, if you don't want to talk about Christianity, then we can talk about something else. But that's the reason why you said abortion is wrong, right?
What?
That's the reason why you said abortion is wrong, right?
To talk about something else? Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk.
You said
about
you said that
something
you
else.
can't be Christian and be pro-choice. Did you
do
know that
this
Jesus
for a
is
living. I
pro-choice?
have limited time to get my point across, so let's talk about something
Sir,
different.
did you know that Jesus is pro-choice?
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Jesus is.
He gave you free will, my guy. He's pro-choice.
Oh man.
He literally allows
Will
people to
came
get
about
access to an
whenever-
abortion.
No, free will came about whenever Eve ate from the forbidden
Yeah,
fruit.
Jesus literally allows for you to get access to abortion. Did you know that?
You're
He literally
Oh,
grants you the access.
Your whole like belief on the Christianity is wrong. If you
I'm not
believe that
wrong. Jesus is
Christ
literally
gives you free
pro-choice,
will,
my guy.
You think Jesus Christ gives you free will?
Yeah,
Explain
literally.
that.
Like that's what every Christian's ever told me.
How?
Well, except for
how
some.
does
Some
that-
believe in determinism, but that's another incoherent
Free
ideology.
will came about after Eden or Eve,
The Garden of Eden.
the Garden of yeah, exactly. That's where free will came about.
I understand, but God gave
Okay,
you free
so-
will. Do you agree?
Yes, God did.
For Standard. So God's pro-choice.
No, God.
W
gave you
Jesus for being pro-choice.
choose between right and wrong.
Jesus, the pro-choice king.
God gave you a conscience to choose between right and wrong. God didn't approve abortion and was
Yeah,
not.
but he approved that you have the
That's
choice,
what
right?
Free will is. Free
Wait,
will is
wait, I have a
not-
question. Does God approve that you have the choice to get access to an abortion?
Does God approve what? Say it again.
Does God approve of the choice for you to be able to get access to an abortion?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
That would be killing his own creation.
So he does believe that you have the
Do you
ability to
believe
do.
God created you, Parker?
I'm not religious. So the point
Well,
from your
but
perspective.
wait, hold on. Do you believe God created you? Then who created you? If God didn't create you, who created you, Parker?
I'm an agnostic atheist, so I don't know what the causes of the universe prior to the Big Bang.
Oh, so you just don't care enough.
No, I just don't have the explanation.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Can I keep making my point? So
ahead.
God gave you free will. So he
Yeah.
wanted you to have the ability to sin or to not sin. Okay? So God
That's
is
our choice.
pro-choice.
That doesn't mean
So
that
God
it's
is pro-choice because he wanted you to have the choice to sin or to not sin.
No, that
That's
doesn't.
literally
mean that
what
God-
pro-choice is.
That doesn't mean that God's just going to approve everything that you choose. That's what.
Wait,
you're
wait,
saying.
wait.
You're
That's
saying that
not
God
even
gave
what.
you free
Wait, wait, wait.
will.
The pro-choice position does not mean you have to be pro-abortion. You can be anti-abortion and pro-choice. Did you know that?
Explain that thought process.
Yeah, you can be morally against abortion, but think you should have legal access to it.
Okay, I can get along with that.
Okay, well then you're pro-choice then.
No, I'm not pro-choice. I'm whatever.
That is literally pro-choice.
Anti-abortion, or no? Wait, you confused me, Parker. Say it again.
Anti-abortion, but you're pro-choice.
No.
Like you're morally opposed to abortion, but you think it should be legal.
I mean, in some aspects, yeah. Like when it comes to like rape.
I'm talking about in every circumstance or an elective
no, I don't
circumstances.
believe in any circumstance. No.
Okay, so you think
No,
it should be illegal to get access to an
Again,
abortion?
I believe in the moral part of it. Morally.
Push the hand out. Yeah, so you believe it's immoral, but do you think it should be illegal?
I believe it should be illegal to people that don't need it.
Okay, so for example,
Is that a fair statement to make?
No. So do you think that people should go to prison if they get access to an abortion? Like in the elective circumstance?
I do. Yes.
Okay, can I ask you this question? If someone has a miscarriage, are you going to investigate their miscarriage?
No, why would I do that?
Okay, so then couldn't any particular person who's pregnant just get a black market abortion and just claim that they had a miscarriage?
If they wanted to, that's up with them and the Lord.
So aren't you just going to create conditions where people are incentivized to get abortions in less safe means?
That's their choice. Again, free choice. They have free choice to do that.
Okay, so then why don't you just make it legal to give them the choice there? Wouldn't you rather that they have the choice to get access to a safe abortion rather than the choice to get an unsafe abortion?
Again, if you're gonna say make it legal or make it illegal, morally it's wrong.
Yeah, you can disagree with it morally while still thinking it should be legal because you would prefer people to have access to safe abortion than unsafe abortion.
It should be illegal.
Would you prefer people have access to safe abortion or unsafe abortion?
I think that if you want to have access to abortion, you should have access to unsafe abortion. Absolutely.
That's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why is that? Because if you're gonna kill a baby, you should go kill yourself anyways.
Wow, go fuck yourself. Genuinely, go fuck yourself.
No, not at all.
I'm kicking him for that. That's insane. That's fucking disgusting, actually. Genuinely insane. Let's go to the next individual and send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Like, seriously, what a horrible fucking thing to say. By the way, that person's Christian? Are you serious? Why don't you say that to God, or to what's it called, to Donald Trump after claiming that he was God? Right? Because that's an unforgivable sin. Abortion's forgivable. Blasphemy is not forgivable. I wonder why he says that about people who get abortions, but not about the president that he supports. Harold, thank you for the $20. Thank you for blasphemers are damned. Those that follow blasphemers are twice damned. Exactly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Harold as well. Also, thank you for $20 as well. They said water created you along something similar to electricity. Park water has been here since nearly the dawn of Earth. All living things are water-based, and yes, I am devoutly Christian. Well, thank you very much, Harold. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you very much. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, links are in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello? Bianca, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I know, right? Grace, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you very much. Chat, thank you for the $2. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
19. I'm just gonna say this.
Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Election on today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
If you're a leftist, I'm gonna slit your throat and make you drink.
Okay, what a disgusting fuck. Genuinely, that's so disgusting to say. What the fuck is wrong with people? Literally, that's what they say just for people having difference in political views. What happened to, like, let's unify as a country? Like, let's end this violent rhetoric? You know, like, what happened to that? If you disagree with me politically, I'm going to call for your death. What? Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you?
Hey, what's up, man? 36.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, dealing with my dog right now. What's
Okay.
up, man?
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. And why do you support Trump?
Why do I support Trump? Well, he didn't take showers with his daughter, which is what Biden did. So, and then secondly, sorry, my dog's like fighting me. Secondly, he's disarming Iran from nuclear warheads, and they have tentacles with Hamas. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Patch. Stop.
So the first point that you made isn't actually verified. The diary that you're referencing, there was a chain of custody, specifically where it was held by a right-wing think tank. And Ashley Biden came out and specifically said that there were things that were false accusations targeted against people that she loves, and people were misrepresenting specifically things. So obviously, there's not the contents haven't. So can I please finish, sir? Can I please finish, sir? So the contents haven't. Not only the contents have not been clarified, but also even if you did specifically say that this was applicable, there's nothing in that even references the age of her at that particular time, right? And obviously, when it comes to being a parent, especially if you're like a father that's involved, right? You're going to like literally bathe or take care of your children when they're young, right? Obviously, it wouldn't make sense to do if they're older.
When she took.
Obviously, it would not make sense if they're older, but if you're talking about someone specifically in terms of a certain age, that's not even listed.
Sick.
Okay, well, that's not the age isn't even listed in the diary.
Ages. Yes, it will.
The age was not listed in the diary. That's just not true. You're making that up. Okay? Along with the fact that you literally support a guy held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman.
We can't.
You support a guy that was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, that bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where two 18-year-olds came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms, who said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, who sexualized his daughter on countless occasions, saying yeah to Howard Stern, calling his daughter a piece of ass, calling his daughter voluptuous, which means curvy and sexually attractive, saying he has sex in common with his daughter, and saying he'd be dating his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter, right? Along with the fact that he was credibly accused by a minor that got a settlement with the Epstein estate. You are muted, my guy. Smack, are you there? You unmuted.
You muted me, right?
Yeah, I know.
Me, right? Yeah, so you stopped me from talking, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when I mute you.
You don't like me to talk, because that means
in the middle of my statement, yeah.
Facts are coming out, right? So Trump walked into a dressing room? Is that what you're saying?
He bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent.
How about backstage? Do you want to say that he walked backstage or into a dressing room?
Well,
Are you
both.
lying?